So do you want to jump into any Supercross?
Yes, let's do it. So this time they were in Indianapolis. It was again a Triple Crown event.
Yes, for the East Coast boys.
For the East Coast boys. So that means the new driver that I was talking about in the racing news will be back. So I think next time they will be in Seattle.
Yeah, yes.
And that's when the new driver will be joining the 250SX.
Because our West Coast boys weren't back yet. We got a little bit overexcited.
Dude, I'm so excited to see those guys.
Yeah.
But I will say the Triple Crown event was really awesome. We unfortunately did miss the very first race for the 250SX.
Yes, because we honestly didn't realize it was a Triple Crown.
Yeah,
we thought, oh, maybe we'll miss the first heat, but we unfortunately missed the first race.
Yes. So the first race went to McAdoo. He ended up winning it. Hayden Deegan came second, and then Vial came third.
Yes.
And so we can't really talk about that. But then we watched the fourth. Wait, let's just talk about 250.
Let's just finish about 250.
Because when you watch it, they do a 1-1.
Well, first of all, I want to say, and I had read about it previously, but Cody Schock was already back.
Yes.
I mean, I thought it was absolute insanity. We talked about it that he had a hairline fracture originally in his collarbone. Then and then the incident with Hayden Deegan ended up completely breaking it.
Yes.
And then so he had surgery this week and immediately came back. And
we
very
both
much
talked about that.
It. Yeah.
We both talked about it, that we both feel a little conflicted about it. We both feel like we're hoping that he is making the right decision together with his team and his medical, or medical team, his doctor, because having a surgery and then immediately jumping back onto the bike, especially because it's not like, first of all, he won't take it easy, because then why would he even? He's not gonna be like, I'm gonna chill, and it is very intensive on the shoulders and stuff like that, right? Because you're constantly absorbing the shock when you're landing.
Oh yeah, there's no taking it easy.
And then he did ended up having, in the third race, he had a tumble. He fell. So I don't know, it's just it's just a little concerning. I mean, hope that he's not gonna face any repercussions later on in his life or something like that. It's just, I know that they're all fighting for the championship and stuff like that. It just seemed very, very early or soon to be back.
I agree. I just hope that it doesn't have any repercussions for him long term as well, that it doesn't affect him, that his healing didn't get affected, because of course we're rooting for him. So he ended up placing 5th in the first race and then 8th in the second and third.
Yes, and sorry, I just lied. I want to stand corrected. Vial came 4th in the first race.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Not 3rd. Sorry,
yes.
I was under the impression he came 3rd twice, but no, it was 4-3-1.
Gotcha.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. And then, I mean, we already talked about Cameron McAdoo. He placed 1st in the first one, 2nd in the second, and then 3rd in the
He did 1,
third.
2, 3.
Yes. The third one really, I thought, was the most interesting, the third race.
Yes.
Just because there was a lot of who's going to place where in terms of points for the overall Triple Crown.
Yes.
Because did you want to say something about a second race?
I wanted to say, because I thought people or the commentator were saying the second race was won by Hayden Deegan. And I think we can all agree that was probably his most dominant performance the whole season. Commentators were also saying this is what they were expecting of him and stuff like that. But it is then also quite unfortunate that then in the third race, the reason why there was actually so much excitement throughout the race was actually by a mistake that he caused himself that ended up causing him to lose that event.
Exactly.
Because if he didn't make that mistake, he, I think, would have probably had a chance of winning it. It would have definitely come down between him and McAdoo, I would say.
Correct, yeah.
But in the very beginning, right out of the gates, for the third race, he ended up hitting one of those blocks on the side.
Yeah.
And I get that it was tight, but I believe, if I remember the replay correctly, there was enough room for him to avoid it. So it was just a mistake, and that happens. But he ended up then taking down a bunch of people.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of people that went down.
Immediately, especially at the start, it's such a domino effect, because they're so crowded, all these 20 drivers trying to make it around this tiny little corner. So which makes the start, of course, always very interesting. But yeah, it was definitely unfortunate and hurt his race. He did make up a bunch of spots.
He did make it up.
So that's why it was so interesting, because he was making making up spots, and Cameron was losing some spots. So it was all about like math, figuring out like, well, what position does McAdoo need to make it to still win the Triple Crown versus what does Hayden Deegan need to make second,
And then
third,
even
or winning
Vial
it.
was in there schmoozing and trying to
Exactly.
get, because I think if McAdoo would have placed fourth, then Vial would have taken
Correct.
it.
Right.
And I will say though, I don't think Hayden Deegan. After the crash, I was like, he's not gonna make up enough spaces to win it, because I don't see him overtaking McAdoo. That's my thing. I'm like, I think McAdoo is probably like, just bring it home.
Yes.
You know, of course, like ideally, like if he can win it, he can win it, right? But then I think Tom had a really great last race, and he just kind of took off, and he was like doing his own thing. And then I think he was like, okay, let me just defend my third place position and bring it home. And I would have been incredibly surprised if Hayden would have been able to make up that many spaces. I mean, he ended up coming sixth in the last one, and he made up, but I would have been very, very surprised if he would have made up so many that he would have taken it home.
That's true. I mean, it was still a really nice performance of his.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that McAdoo won.
Yes.
He seems also just like such a nice guy. And
he seems like a really great
and
guy.
we were talking about it too. He seems in such a great place. Like he's in this mindset that he's really enjoying all the races. He's living in the moment. He's trying not to get hung up on things and just like really enjoy, because he understands the immensely amazing opportunity he has to do this for a living, to ride. I mean, to live his dream job essentially, and also doing it successfully. So I'm just rooting for him, because I mean, we love an aware king.
Yes. Yeah, and he just seems like really grounded, and
Yes.
Clearly he has also a really awesome family. They showed a couple weeks ago, they did a little bit more of a documentary.
Oh, because it was military appreciation.
Exactly.
And his sister was
she's in the Navy and stuff like that. So it's just, he seems like a really awesome cool guy. And I will also say I was happy to see that Tom was doing well.
Yes.
He ended up, sneaking in that one win, and he ended up coming second overall.
Yes.
In the Triple Crown event. And also, I thought it was really cool to hear that him and Chase Sexton seem to get along really well, and they've been training off when they're not, racing. They seem to be training together.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so maybe this is also like reflecting Tom's performance, because he's been obviously very dominant recently. He won the last two races, and then he came second in the Triple Crown event. So it's really cool to see, because obviously Chase is our current defending champion.
Correct, yeah.
Even though, he has been struggling a little bit more due to injury and stuff like that, but obviously you don't win the 450 SX championship if you're not very, very, very good.
Exactly, correct.
So
Yeah.
it's just really awesome to see. And before we move on to the 450 SX, so how's the standing now for the 250?
So right now, McAdoo now took over the lead from Tom, which is nice.
It's cool.
I'm
I like
rooting
it.
for Tom as well. So, but it's only 2 points apart at the moment. So McAdoo with 98 points, then Tom Vial at 96 points. What do you have to say?
And who's little sneaky snack in third place?
Our beloved Pierce Brown. It's just absolutely incredible seeing him. I mean, he's
They
doing.
never talk about him.
No,
They never talk about him.
the ninja just sneaking in. He's always competing at the top-ish, not the top, but like what was his results? 12th, 4th, and 2nd for the races, which is the first one. I don't know if something happened because we didn't watch the first race, but I mean, he's Mr. Consistent. I mean, that's what can win you a championship.
And
I don't know.
That's how he's in third place.
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, it's great to see.
Yeah.
I love it. So and then
so he's 11 points off of the first place,
correct.
And between 1 and 2 there's 2 points.
So yeah. But yeah, I'm enjoying the East Coast boys as well. There's some drama there, of course. Also, we've seen a little bit more physical action, I feel like, on the east side, but I'm definitely stoked to go back to the West Coast next week.
2 things I wanted to mention. Jalik actually had a few really great starts, but then he made some mistakes. He fell off the bike, so his overall performance was he came 6th, 7th, and then 20th.
Yeah.
However, he said for the very first time a Triumph bike led a full lap on in 250 SX. So that's exciting.
that's
I
a
know
win.
it's not a major deal, but
Yeah.
it's still really cool
And-
because he has a lot of potential.
Agreed.
And so I'm excited to see maybe also what Triumph can do with the bike next year. And hopefully, it will be more competitive. And of course, hopefully he will learn from his mistakes and really take them on and grow from them.
Yeah, I agree. And then also just to point out, he only made 20th because he didn't finish the race.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he went into the pits at one point, and then
Oh, yeah,
we
I
saw some
remember that. He
interaction
was
with
very
him and
upset.
his mechanics, and he was quite frustrated, understandably so, that he couldn't finish the race. And then I forgot, we didn't talk about our other bestie.
Yes, I wanted to bring him up too.
Yeah.
That's the second point.
So Max Anstey, our guy who we're rooting for. I'm sure you guys remember last week he couldn't finish the race that he was leading because there was some issues with the bike. It turned out it was an OEM part that just stopped working, which is not to the fault of his mechanics, his team, or anything.
It's like you're doing everything right, and then this happens, and there's nothing you could have done about
It's so heartbreaking. And I told you about it, and if you guys have seen it, we'll put a link for it in the comments or in the description below. But his team chef, his team owner, he posted like a video on the socials as well, just pointing out and emphasizing that, one, of course, they're a very small team, but that it was really not to the fault of any of his staff or mechanics or anybody. It was really just an OEM part that ish happens,
Yeah.
So unfortunately that happened to them, and it's just I feel like it's extra heartbreaking for like the little teams because they put in so much hard work amongst like so many or so little amounts of staff or personnel power. So it's just it's tough.
It is a heartbreaking. However, let's move on to something that is not so heartbreaking, which is the 450 SX. So let's get it right out of the way. This was a clean swipe.
All of the above.
All of the above by Jet Lawrence. He did 111. He got a total of 3 points and triple crown events. I'm so sorry. Are Olympic style, so so the least amount of points wins.
Yes.
So you got a total of 3 points throughout those 3 races, and he was incredibly dominant.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us, because our boy Kenny did really, really excellent too. He came in 2, 2, and 3.
Yes.
He led the first 2 races, both of them, right out of the gate. He had excellent starts, which we all know this season especially. He hasn't been that good in starts. He always had to make up the places.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's hit or miss. Either he has a great start or he's not, but he shows that he can make his way through it.
Yeah. So I feel like he always has to make up places. So this time he like always was right off the gates. He was first place, but then Jet Lawrence is just incredibly dominant, and he also doesn't have a good bike. So Ken.
Yes.
So Ken didn't do anything wrong. Okay.
It's
I mean, I would have loved for him to win it.
At least
obviously,
just one of the races. Also because apparently he had won last year in Indianapolis, so it would have been nice for him to bring it back, especially now that he has a little bit. I wouldn't call it a resurgence, but he's been having some successful races now.
And I also wanted to, I don't want Jet to just run away with it now.
Yes.
I'm looking at it in this way as also like we're a first timers watching this season. Like we've watched all the races and stuff like that. But and it's also kind of cool to see this rookie coming in and really living up to the expectations.
Yes.
I think he really has been.
I feel we even talked about it. He had a little dip at the beginning where people, of course, were immediately destroying him.
Yeah, they tend to be quite harsh on him.
Yes, very, very much so. But I feel like he's learned. He seems a lot more consistent now. He's not making those simple mistakes that he did at the beginning, which had cost him
I think they were
a podium.
Bad mistakes, because I think 2 or 3 times he gave up a win essentially by making a mistake.
Yes. But I meant like it's just like things that could have been avoided.
Yes.
Yes, and that's what he's not been doing. He's been
Yeah.
focused and not making those mistakes. And once he's in the front, he just
Takes off.
extends his lead. And
He
I
takes
mean,
off.
it's cool to see as well, for sure. But I mean, our boy Ken also deserves it. I would love to, because we missed his era essentially, or his old era. I would love to see him again on a stronger bike. I would
Yeah.
love for him to be given that opportunity. Yes, he's already older, so I'm sure the chances are smaller.
Yeah.
But I would love to see it, just because the Suzuki, from what we've heard, is not that competitive. And I mean, you can see it that he does lose time.
Yeah.
But I don't know
mean,
if it's because of the bike or is it
because
because of other things.
he's already getting older, and he's not as, he's not 20 like Jet, and has maybe the energy and the strength or whatever. But the really exciting highlight that I thought was this weekend was also to see Chase back on the top. He came in 3:32. I was hoping that he would be able to catch Jet.
Yes.
But
the last one.
in the last race,
Yes.
but he ended up coming in 3:32, and it's very exciting to see him back in it.
Yes.
Hopefully the next race we'll see him, maybe he can fight for a win again, because once again we have some PTSD from F1 with Max Verstappen.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So we don't want this to be a Max Verstappen situation.
No, yeah.
So we wanted to stay more competitive.
Agreed. So it's nice to see that Chase definitely got his groove back slowly. But I'm also very happy for Jason Anderson. He did well this round.
Yes.
He was 5th, 6th, and then 5th again. So it was nice. And he did have quite some action with Cooper Webb and Aaron Plessinger. They were all kind of in a mix for those places. So that was nice to see that there's competition for the podium, but also for the points right behind it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I think we mentioned that last week too. I would like to see Aaron back on the top, because he had a really great start into the season, and now he kind of just not fizzled out, but he's not been.
He's in like the lower
top 10
or higher top. I mean, towards like the back end of the top 10 a little bit more,
which is a bummer, because I don't know why. I don't know if there's something going on with the bike or something going on, but I would like for him to finish in higher places.
Yeah, at the same thing with, I feel like Eli Tomac this weekend, I didn't see him quite as much in the mix.
He did a 4, 7, and 10.
Exactly. So it's okay. But yeah, so it was, I don't know. I mean, it was still a lot of fun. And I don't envy those guys doing a triple crown. I mean, not that I drive a single crown event. But I think it just sounds so intense.
Yeah.
Like exhausting back to back, 3 races a night plus qualifying earlier in the day and practice. And I mean, it just seems exhausting.
I don't know, but I think there are some drivers on the grid that don't actually like the Triple Crown event.
I mean, I wouldn't blame them. Yeah.
I saw something, but I didn't end up watching the video, because I'm like, it'll be all right. I will say, though, even though Hunter Lawrence is injured, he was still participating. He came 10, 10, 12. I keep thinking that I hope that maybe in like 2 or 3 years, Hunter will find his groove, and maybe he will be out there battling in the front too, because he's just so much in the shadow of his brother.
Yes.
Which is a little bit unfortunate, but like if we're looking point wise, like Jed has more than double the amount of points than Hunter.
Yeah. But then also, I mean, we also still need to consider that this is also Hunter's rookie season. Like, yes, it's Jed's rookie season, like, whatever. But I mean, I feel like Hunter's results are, me as a noob, is like, it seems like a more realistic, if not a great result for it being his rookie season. I mean, he's competing up there with big names also. Like, yes, he's not necessarily podium contention, but he's competing for the points, you know? So I think it's really great to see. But yeah, it's a bummer definitely that he's a little bit in the shadow of his brother, or maybe he actually likes it because he doesn't have maybe as much pressure on him as Jet does.
Yeah. And then, so if we're looking at the standing, so we have Jet Lawrence coming in at 210 points.
Yeah.
Cooper Webb, 189 in second. And then Chase in third with 185. And then the boy Kenny.
Yes.
With 175 in fourth. And then rounding up the top 5 is Eli Tomac with 174, so just a point behind our boy Kenny.
Yeah.
So it is getting a little bit further away, like it's stretching, the field is stretching out a little bit more,
Yeah.
the championship standing. However, I am so excited to have the 250 SX guys back. We'll have Levi
Kitchen, Joe Shimoda.
And I think if I remember, their field was also much tighter.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm very excited to see those guys back.
Yeah, same.
The track.
I feel like we've missed them. It's been a couple weeks now since we've seen them. So I'm excited to see also maybe things changed over the break. Have they maybe somebody done like big improvements?
Maybe Joe can get his starts.
Yes. So we'll see. But yeah, so let's talk about what's happening this upcoming weekend in the world of racing. So as we mentioned at the beginning, lots is going to be happening this weekend.
Much.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. Just a quick shout out in the description for all of our videos. You always find our most recent monthly racing calendar with like links to the series and also to streaming services, so you can find when and where you can watch them with as much information as we get. Some people are a little bit late at providing this information, so we have a couple gaps in there, but we usually try to provide at least links so you can find the most updated details for the different races.
And it also tells you on there whether or not you can watch it for free or if it's paid.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about it. So we have next weekend, of course, we have Formula 1, 2, and 3 coming back. They're heading to Melbourne.
Which is one of the few street tracks that I genuinely enjoy.
Yes. I mean, last year we've already made a video highlighting this. Last year, Australia was absolutely wild.
It's like only half of the field finished.
Yes. I mean, they had 3 restarts, so it's crazy. So I'm curious to see. I mean, I don't have high expectations. I don't expect that to go down yet again, but I'm definitely curious about it.
Then we also have MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3, and Moto E racing next week. So very, very awesome. There's an endurance race, the Hankook 12-hour... I don't know how to say that.
In Florence, Italy.
In Florence, Italy race, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm hoping I'll be able to watch some of that because it starts, I think, a little bit later. What time does it start?
I mean, it's at 2:30 our time.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
perfect.
Sorry, no, 2:30 Florence, Italy time, which is 9-hour time difference approximately to us.
Oh, so it's terrible for me because I'm at work.
But
mind.
I mean, it's you can watch. I mean, it's going to be on YouTube, which is the great part. So they're streaming that on YouTube, and for free.
That's awesome.
There's also karting happening next weekend in Spain, so the karting season kicks off. We also have Superbike and the Australian Superbike Championship. There's NASCAR happening next weekend.
There's the IndyCar 1 million challenge.
Oh yes, that's happening here in California in Thermal at the track.
Oh my goodness.
I wish we could go.
Let's see right here what we have. So there's the Stock Car Pro Series, which you can also watch for free on YouTube. Supercross, of course, we said multiple times now. NASCAR Mexico Series, next NASCAR Cup is coming back.
NASCAR Xfinity Series. So I mean, there's so much to watch. There's also the Motocross World Championship happening in Spain. This upcoming. I mean, if you don't have anything to do, there's lots of racing for you to watch, and also a good amount that's available for free. Not everything, but
at least usually any of the paid services, if you've never watched it. So if you're like uncertain, hey, should I try MotoGP or should I try Superbike? Most of those have a trial, so you can at least check it out for one race and then make your decision. And once again, series like the MotoGP are included in the US currently for free in Max.
Yes.
So if you have a HBO Max
what
subscription,
a win.
You already get it.
Relieved.
Yeah, we get it fortunately with our internet provider, so it's very easy to watch.
Yes.
So check it out. Also, please let us know in the comments down below. First of all, what did you guys watch this past weekend? And what are you excited for this upcoming weekend? I'm very excited for everything. There's everything.
Like, if we list what we're excited for, we're going to list everything.
It's going to be another 30 minutes. Yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited. Lots and lots of awesome racing coming up. And I think that would be it for today's video. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and we will be seeing you guys
You
here
guys.
tomorrow at the Daily Racing Show. Yeah, I think my arm popped twice by stretching out like that. Yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and we'll be seeing you guys here tomorrow at the Daily Racing Show. Look, for the way.
Bye-bye.
Don't call HR.